Assalamu alaikum. So you want to make money. Many adverts on the internet are about making money and quick money. But this video is going to be a little different. I'm going to tell you how to make money such that you can sleep at night knowing that you didn't leave someone hungry or shortchange somebody else. As Muslims, great emphasis is placed on us through prophetic traditions to ensure that we do not usurp or take the rights of people. Sinning against God is one thing, because we're told that God can forgive out of His mercy a sin that we did to Him. But sinning against people is a sin that God won't forgive unless that individual forgives us first. Stealing, taking someone's right, lying to somebody, backbiting them, accusing them and tarnishing their reputation. These are all sins against mankind, against people. So much emphasis is placed on looking after the rights of people that even when it comes to the greatest act of worship, the 5 daily prayers for Muslims, we're told that we can't even do our ritual ablution with water that we do not have permission to use. We can't pray on private land, and even if we pray in public places, we have to ensure that we're not inconveniencing people whilst praying there. If it's a walkway which people are using, we're not allowed to pray there. That's how much emphasis has been placed on looking after and upholding the rights of other human beings. So here are the 8 rules to making moral money. Number 1, the Prophet says, make sure you know your moral boundaries before you begin to trade and go into business. There's no point becoming a loan shark, squeezing people, earning great amount of money, and then asking whether or not what I did was moral, whether or not Islam permitted me to do that. So first and foremost, learn your moral boundaries, know what you can and cannot do, and then begin to trade, work, and do business. Rule number 2, tip the scale. The Prophet says that if your commodity is something that can be weighed, then give a bit more than what somebody's buying. If somebody's paying you for a kilo, give them just over a kilo so you know that you didn't shortchange them. If it's a service that you're providing, go that extra mile so people know at the end of the day that you're a trustworthy individual who won't stab them in the back or shortchange them. Rule number 3, don't exploit. It's easy to make money by exploiting people. As soon as there's a war on one side of the world, as there are many a war in our lifetime so far, it's easy to begin to exploit those who are in need, to begin to raise the price of medicine, to raise the price of bricks and mortar that you're sending there. By exploiting people, we only increase greed and immorality in the world. We ensure that those who are less privileged remain dependent on those who are privileged. If you're going to lend money to somebody and you think that you're never going to get the same amount due to inflation, peg it against gold. Try and take a share in their business. Help people to grow. Don't make people dependent on you and I, simply because we may have wealth which they don't have at this point in time. For point number 4, the Prophet says that never make an oath that you cannot live up to. It's easy to give promises, it's easy to say that you'll do something simply to seal the deal, to make the sale. The Prophet says if you're going to make a promise, try your utmost, give it 100% to ensure that you fulfill your promise. But if you're going to make a promise knowing very well from the onset that there's no way you can fulfill it, then don't make that promise. Why? Because you're lying to yourself, you're deceiving the other party, and you're simply increasing immorality. As soon as somebody loses trust in you, it's very difficult to bring it back. It's like a droplet of water in your hand. As soon as it goes down to the earth, it's near to impossible to bring it back. That's how trust is. If somebody trusts you, don't deceive them. 5, the Prophet says, never hide a defect of something you're going to sell. If you're going to sell your car and the CD player doesn't work, make mention of it. Don't try and get an extra few pounds simply because you were able to deceive somebody. If you're selling your laptop online, the CPU is about to burn out, mention it. At the end of the day, you're being truthful, and that's something that will allow you to sleep at night. Why get a bit more wealth and then know at the back of your mind that you were able to deceive someone, that you were a prolific liar and somebody accepted your words? Take the hit, speak the truth, mention the defects, and sleep well. Don't exaggerate the praise of a product you're going to sell. That's point number 6. The Prophet says that's going to corrupt you as an individual. By you deceiving somebody, by you increasing their hopes in something and as soon as they take that product, they realize it's not as good as what you were mentioning. That's deceit. That's something that's not encouraged. Why? Because it's immoral. You have to be confident in that which you're selling. You have to love that which you're selling. You got to know about it inside out. But it doesn't mean you have to exaggerate about it. Don't raise the hopes of people. Speak the truth. Tell it how it is. One of the family of the Prophet mentions that in this world, everything that you describe, the description is better than the actual physical product. But in the next life, whatever you describe, the physical product, heaven, is actually much better and surpasses all description. Number 7, we're told, never show disapproval for that which you intend to buy. Most of these points come down to deceit and corrupting our own selves, lying to our own selves. That if I know I want to buy something, and I know I need it or I want it, but the price is too high, I don't need to show disapproval. I need to be a human who's governed by intellect, not an animal that's governed by desires. I need to show that I want it, but I need to negotiate for the price. By me showing disapproval, by me trying to find faults simply to bring down the price, it's deceit, it's me lying to myself, it's my intellect telling me what I'm doing is wrong, but me numbing my moral calling to prove to myself that I can get a better price. In the long run, this moral conscience will stop talking out, will stop speaking out, and then we'll end up in the plight that we have around us today in the world, where you have injustice taking place, people seeing what's going on around the earth, on their television screens, on their mobiles, on their computers, but not being affected by it. To see a child crying and not be affected, to just simply flick the channel and not want to go and do something, not have your blood boil, that sometimes it's our own governments who are hand in hand with these oppressors, that means our moral conscience is simply dead. It starts off with these simple, minute acts that you and I may be indulging in, day out. Finally, and very importantly, we need to pay our dues. We live in a country that we're proud of, that we love, and we have a responsibility back to the country, to give back to its people. When we have tax to pay, we have no legitimate right to avoid paying the taxes that we owe. We use from this country and we have to give back to this country. By me creating an invoice that has no basis, by me undervaluing goods, by me not mentioning certain assets that I have in my tax returns, that's deceit. That's me taking away a meal from somebody who's hungry. That's me breaking a shelter from somebody who needs a covering over their head. That's me ripping away clothes that somebody needs to cover themselves. When the lights go off on our street, we'll have no right to complain. Why? Because we never paid our dues. When we go to the NHS and we have to wait in extremely long queues, and our procedures and surgeries are deferred month after month because beds aren't available. In as much as we may point fingers to a government for mismanagement, we also need to point the finger to ourselves first. Us as business owners, us as individuals, us as employees. If we're avoiding paying tax, if we're avoiding paying our dues back into the same pot that gives us housing when we need it, that gives us care and our family care when we need it, that gives us free education that people around the globe look up to, then we have no right to complain because we didn't give back what we were meant to. It's immoral to take but not give. It's immoral to use but not give back. And it's immoral to live in a country and not abide by its laws. So these are the 8 golden rules that the Prophet mentions, that if you want to make moral money, you want to have a good sleep at night, knowing that you haven't usurped the rights of people, live up to them and know that every pound that hits your bank account is a pound that is legit and a pound that God's pleased with.